Welcome to this presentation from the Urban Penguin. My name is Andrew Mallett, and today we're going to take a look at managing run levels on our Red Hat Enterprise 7 server. As always, you can find my videos on theurbanpenguin.com. If you're on Twitter, you can follow me at The Urban Penguin, and on Facebook you'll be able to find and like my page, The Urban Penguin. So I say we're working on our Red Hat Enterprise 7 server. So if you've been using and administering Linux for a little while, you've probably been used to displaying your run levels with the run level command and changing run levels with the init or tell init commands. With Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7, we're going to start to see some differences where we then have to use the systemd services and systemctl to change our run levels. So you can see we've booted up to a graphical environment on our Red Hat Enterprise Linux Server 7, and this is the beta release. So if I go in and log in as my user Bob, put in Mr. Bob's password, and allow the new GNOME 3 environment to boot up to. So let's open up a command prompt. So I can right click on my GNOME desktop, open in terminal, and let's make the font just a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. So Control Shift and plus. We'll gain some root privileges, so I'll just go through. I can still use the run level command if I so desire, and probably do, because it is quite simple. So I can use run level, and we can see that we're in run level 5, and this is a new boot. We weren't in any other previous run level. But as I say, with the system daemon managing our services and moving away from the sys5 init scripts, we now have to use the systemctl command to change our run levels. But before we get too carried away with ourselves, let's look at the latest and greatest, if you like, run level command. And with all of these managing our run levels, we look at systemctl. So we could still use the run level command, and we might prefer to. It's a little simpler, but we can run systemctl list units and then -- type equals target. The default will show us the loaded targets, and we can see that we've got the graphical target loaded here. We also have the multi-user target loaded and things like the network target. So it's really combining our run levels to show. So we're on the network, we're running a multi-user environment, and the multi-user environment with graphical tools. We could, as it says at the bottom here, use a -- all switch, and then we would see the loaded and the non-loaded targets. And I can just hit Q to quit out of this. So I'll say we could use the run level command, and if we just want a quick check, then the run level command is quite simple, showing that we're in run level 5. But the story behind this is that run level 5 is a multi-user environment, and it includes networking, and we would always teach this on the courses. So even with the standard system 5 courses, we would go through and say, well, yeah, in these init scripts that we have things like run level 2, and run level 2 is multi-user but without networking. So we now get, I suppose, the bigger picture with the systemctl list units command. If I want to change my run level, so currently we're in run level 5, then I can use systemctl and the isolate subcommand. So systemctl isolate, and then we're currently in graphical, so we're going to now choose multi-user.target. And again, I'm just using tab completion of the command line to help with this. Of course, we have to be root to be able to change our run level, and if I hit the enter key, then we can see that the graphical environment is shutting down, and now I've been taken through to a command line prompt. If I log in as root, put in my root user's password and try and get my password correct, clear my screen with Control L, and then again for simplicity I just use a run level command, so we can see we were in run level 5, we're now in run level 3. If I go back into my system's CTL, and then we'll look at the list units, minus type equals target. Now when we look at the output, we can see the multi-user target, but the graphical target now no longer shows. So we get an understanding of how these targets combine together to produce an overall and effective run level. Now currently my default run level is run level 5. When my system boots, we go into the graphical target. To change the run level, we don't go to the etc init tab anymore. We use the systemctl and enable command. So if we go through and run my systemctl, enable as my sub command, and then we want to set the multi-user, and then use --force. As we're ready on that, we'll hit enter, and we can see what's happening is that we're deleting one file and then creating a symbolic link from our multi-user target through to the default target. Of course, if we wanted to see our default run level, we could then run the ls-l on etc systemd system and then the default target file. So we see this is a symbolic link that is pointing through to usr lib systemd system multi-user.target. So the process now is just using a symbolic link to the desired target. If I reboot my machine now, of course, when I reboot, we're going to be taken through to the run level 3 that we're currently in. If I want to go back to my graphical environment, then again we can use the isolate command. So systemctl isolate as my sub command, and then graphical target, and then allow the GDM environment to load, and log in as my user Bob with Mr. Bob's password. So hopefully you found this demonstration useful, and how we can manage our run levels in our Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 server or desktop environment. Sure, you might not be running the graphical environments on your server, although obviously some people do, but even so, it's still useful to know about these commands. Thank you, and I really look forward to welcoming you back to my channel soon.